Hello, viewers. Today I have brought for you a very exciting interview. This is an interview with my brother, who is a very successful corporate lawyer in Mumbai. It's been a while since I've met him in person. We used to stay together practically all the time during our childhood. It was a fun childhood. It had its ups and downs, but we were always together till about 2006. And it's been almost 20 years that we've got time to really sit and reminisce. And in the modern era in 2025, we can't really reminisce without recording it and uploading it on social media. So I prepared a list of questions for him, which I did not share with him. These questions range from our personal life to how we grew up to Donald Trump, Manmohan Singh, and the wider world of geopolitics. It will be an engaging watch. It's long, but it's worth watching. Do check out this video with my brother from Maharashtra, who I lovingly refer to as my Marathi cousin, Subham Chatterjee. So welcome to my channel.
Thank you so much.
Subham Chatterjee, my brother from another mother. So the first question.
Almost a mother.
Ekdam. Could you describe your journey from Burnpur to Bombay, which is now Mumbai? And at what point in your life did you decide that you want to live in Mumbai?
It's a very big coincidence. We never planned this, frankly. I was in my ninth standard. My father got posted in Virar, which is around 30 to 40 kilometers from Bombay, which is and which was also the time I decided that I'm not capable, frankly, of pursuing science, and therefore all the plans of engineering or medical went to a backseat, and we started hunting for alternate options, which is also the time my father realized that Pune is a good place for education and opportunities are higher. So it was his vision which drove me from Burnpur to Pune first, and via Pune, obviously, because when you go to Pune, and I pursued corporate law, so opportunities are more obviously in Bombay than any other city in India. So it was a natural progression from Pune to Bombay. So it was Burnpur to Pune to Bombay, now Mumbai. And yes, it's so to put it in one word, it's coincidence. And once I was in Bombay, I just caught on to the speed. I just became part of the competitive landscape of Bombay, and also I realized that Bombay, although it's an expensive city, however, for future opportunities, Bombay is a very good place to stay, to grow, and to have a life and to settle down. So, which is when I also pursued my parents to buy a flat again in Virar. So life went full circle, and my parents bought a flat in Virar, and that's how we realized that okay, now there's no moving from Bombay.
So just to give some context to our viewers who may not be familiar with the place, could you tell us about your birthplace, Burnpur?
Burnpur is a very tiny place in Bardhaman district, Bardhaman West now, district of West Bengal. It is actually not a town, not a village. It's a mofussil. Mofussil, just to put it in simple words, is a place which is an industrial belt. So the first nationalized steel plant of India, Indian Iron and Steel Company, which later around 2002-2003 got merged with SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited. So Indian Iron and Steel Company was established by the British And Burnpur as a place got settled principally to accommodate the officers, engineers, workers, employees of the steel plant, and that is how the entire ecosystem in Burnpur grew. And Burnpur derives its name from another British company, Burn and Standard and Company. So from Burn and Standard, Burnpur derives its name.
Also, Byrne was a person, Mr. Byrne. And what was the population like when you were growing up in Burnpur?
I think the total population in Burnpur was probably few thousand. As I said, it's a very tiny place. I mean, it's a very, very, very slow paced place where, when you come, you feel like you unwind. When you come, you feel, हिंदी में कहते एक बहुत अच्छा वर्ड है ठहराव. वो ठहराव महसूस करता हूँ मैं आफ्टर द फास्ट पेस्ड लाइफ इन बॉम्बे.
Maximum city.
यस.
Okay. So, as you said, this transition from Burnpur to Mumbai happened via Pune, and all because of a coincidence. Your father, my uncle, he was transferred because he was in a transferable job in a nationalized bank. He got transferred to Maharashtra, and that's how you moved from Bengal to Maharashtra, first Pune, then eventually Mumbai.
That's correct.
Okay. So, with your life as a backdrop and with all the experience that you have garnered over the years, what advice would you have for somebody who is watching this video, who is now living in a place like Burnpur and has aspirations of eventually moving and living their life in Mumbai?
My advice would be do not plan very long, because I mean you are also privy to the same experience which I also had. And when we were in school, our parents used to draw a long roadmap for us that okay, after 12th you're going to do, till 12th you're going to pursue science, which goes without saying, because the place where we belong, without science, I mean, you cannot imagine. So, and after that, they would say, okay, you go to this college, these are the good colleges, you have to crack them. Then, I mean, you have to go become either a doctor like you, or you have to work in a top multinational company, or you have to do this, you have to do that. I mean, my advice would be, I mean, with all due respect to all parents, I mean, there is no need to panic. First and foremost, yes, I mean, life skills are very important. I mean, and very basic life skills like, for example, honesty, for example, discipline, I mean, working hard, I mean, perseverance, patience. These are the skills which are extremely important. I mean, maintaining good ties with everybody, like things which I think usually are a core essence of any regular normal Indian middle class family, irrespective of the place, and they are very important. So keep them very close. They become extremely important no matter where you go. And plus, in addition to that, yes, I mean, pursue your passion. I mean, if you are good in science, you pursue science. If you are not good in science, look for other options. The benefit which youngsters today have is the internet, which we never had. I mean, for all the data and all the information, I mean, we would rely entirely on hearsay, or our parents, our teachers, or like somebody in our family, some elder brother, elder cousin, or some uncle who has done very well in his life, like a good engineer or a doctor, somebody. Now you have the internet. Use internet to your advantage to find out what opportunities, options, and all you have. And then again, like, I mean, for example, if let's suppose you want to pursue something in relation to the latest technologies like deep tech or AI and all, then obviously the natural options in India would be, I mean, to be very honest, these endeavors can flourish anywhere in the globe, But if you want to be in India, obviously your options for, I mean, natural options would be a city like Bangalore or a city like Hyderabad, which, I mean, has a lot of techies. I mean, which has a lot of techies, lot of tech companies, lot of tech veterans, lot of, I mean, let's suppose, I mean, today startup is an extremely common word now. And if, let's suppose, you want to take a plunge for entrepreneurship, you have a good idea, then you will find good mentors in Bangalore. You will find a lot of funds who are willing to, invest in these early stage startups if the idea is actually good. So, I mean, that is my advice to somebody who is towards any small town kid, that yes, you use technology to your advantage to work out your options, uh, and keep your basic values very close to you. And yes, I mean, I mean, don't be like me who would shirk his responsibility of studying. Do study also a bit sincerely.
So, just to highlight the point and complete this topic, do you think in the modern era with the advancements in technology, still the geographical location of where you are searching for opportunities is still a very important factor? You still have to go to a Mumbai or a Bengaluru or a Hyderabad as opposed to staying in a not so famous place in India?
So, I mean, see, in India, cities are bifurcated into tiers. Like you have a tier one city, the metros. You have the tier two cities, right? Like, and then there are tier three. I mean, I don't know in which tier Burnpur would lie. So, I mean, I mean, just to give you an example, places like Jaipur, places like Rajkot are extremely important centers of business now. I mean, there's enormous amount of business happening in these places. If you're in towards the interiors of the country, Burnpur, then actually the issue is that although technology gets you in touch with the best and the finest minds, I mean, nowadays if you want to connect and know more, um, apart from chat gpt or apart from normal google search, on linkedin you can reach out to some veteran and say very politely that no, that's I'm a student in my plus one plus two and these are the thoughts I have and I look for your guidance. And people, and you might find people who are actually encouraging to new talent. So from that aspect, yes, geography matters. I mean, the dependency on geography uh, is far less vis-a-vis our age, but at the same time, it's also important to be at the right place, because in the right place, in the right environment. I mean, just to give you another example, I am not sure how much qualified or how much knowledgeable I am to comment on this, but even today, I mean, all the UPSC aspirants, UPSC you can study from anywhere. UPSC you can also study online now, and there are centers across everywhere. Still, UPSC aspirants make it a point to go to old Mukherjee Nagar in Delhi just so that they can be in the right environment. And I believe that matters to a great extent, that you are in the right environment, you are surrounded by veterans, you're surrounded by competitors, because it's after a particular point of time it's just the your competitors or the natural competition in the market which is going to drive you to innovate.
Okay, so it's very well put. I just want to ask, because of the knowledge I have about your life, you went from being an aspirant for IIT to wanting to pursue chartered accountancy to now being a very successful corporate lawyer. How did that transition happen?
I'm not commenting on the successful part, but yes, I mean, you are well aware. I mean, I don't think there's anybody who would understand this better than you, that the kind of families and all where we grew up, I mean, medicine and engineering were the only two options. And I mean, it was my family's dream that I should crack the coveted IITs, which is dream of millions, or probably to rightly to put, probably 1 billion Indians. And and I was no different. I was no exception, and I never really thought through. But I mean, sometimes a word is hammered so much around you that you start pursuing that and you start believing that. And I also started believing that okay, I want to go to IIT without knowing the depth, and without knowing that we were aware about the competition, because our parents would tell us that, I mean, every year, what I think that time around 7-8 lakh or students would apply. Out of them, probably a couple of thousand would make it to the coveted IITs, and that time IITs were far less in number.
Yes, yes.
Extremely.
We are talking about the early 2000s.
We are talking about the early 2000. And I mean, also our teacher, Mr. Pandey, he also used to tell us about IITs. He would scare us about the preparations with a very noble intent, so that we drive ourselves. And but again, more and more, I mean, when thanks to ICSE, our syllabus used to be extremely broad, and we would have to cover different aspects of science as a discipline. So, and I mean, I would not go into the horror stories of my bio marks, but as far as physics, chemistry, maths was concerned, initially I was weak in all of these subjects. My stronger legs were usually history. My stronger leg was Hindi. I still love that subject a lot, and to an extent probably English literature, which were the more of the arts subjects. Science was initially naturally never my stronghold. I mean, thanks to Mr. Pandey, I did buckle up and start understanding and liking maths. But physics and chemistry, which are also important elements of an IIT exam, I have always remained extremely weak. And I mean, I have no shame in admitting that when I was appearing for my class 10 exam, the board exams,
ICSE.
yeah, I did not know chemical balancing. I had to mug it up very rigorously to just try to gather, I mean, a bit respectable score.
So basically, when you realized the subject that you need to excel in to get into IIT, and you realized the gap between your performance and the requirements, that's when you gave up on the IIT.
Yeah, it was a pragmatic call.
Okay, so then you went to chartered accountancy.
Yes, because I mean, again, you remember in my ninth standard, we had bifurcation between computer applications and commercial applications.
Yes.
And again, I was equally hopeless in computers. That also you remember. Again, I used to just scrape through with, I mean, I don't recall the marks, but thankfully I don't recall the marks. So I took commercial applications. Honestly, commercial applications are subjects which I was studying. I mean, I could relate to it. So one thing which I related to with, for example, a subject like history, which has throughout been a subject where I was good at, was that I realized that certain mistakes or certain events have shaped our future, our present, sorry, and certain mistakes which people in the past have made should not be made. That was one aspect which appealed to me, which drew me to the subject.
This is commerce you're talking about?
No, this is history I'm talking about. I'm drawing the relevance. Okay. I mean, I have this horrible habit of digressing and sometimes forgetting that what the original topic was. So it's your responsibility to bring me back on track. So yes, commercial application, 9th and 10th was the 6th subject, which was the optional.
Yes.
And I used to find the subject extremely practical, Like for example, it would teach us about demand and supply. It would teach us about how business is done, the various forms of business. I mean, various departments in a business. Who I mean, and we had a very good teacher, Mr. Nigel D'Souza, who is currently the principal.
Nigel D'Souza used to teach commerce.
Commerce.
Oh.
Yeah, and he is currently the principal of
Yes.
St. Patrick's School. So that drew me to the subject commerce, and then I mean, when I asked people around that what I mean in commerce, what are the options? I mean, one common option was chartered accountancy.
The number one option.
Number one option. Okay. I mean, till now, majority of the commerce students, they are CA aspirants. So again, without knowing too much, it was a quick judgment that okay, I want to be a chartered accountant. I mean, I started saying this end of 10th standard when I revealed to people that okay, I don't have the caliber to proceed with science. I mean, it's going to be a meaningless exercise with scoring less percentages in 12th, because obviously in 12th, in 11th and 12th, be it CBSE or be it ICSE, the level of science is very difficult. So that was the time my father also took the pragmatic call that okay, come to Pune. Options are higher. Now 10th standard, I had decent score to get me through BMCC, Maharashtra College of Commerce, which is one of the.
This is in Pune.
This is in Pune, which is one of the best colleges of commerce in not only in Pune but across India. And so BMCC, my journey with commerce started. And again, commerce, I had never, previously in my 9th and 10th standard, I had not studied accountancy. My first confrontation with accounts happened in my 11th standard. And accounts is again the backbone of a chartered accountancy course. I turned out to be weak in accountancy as well. I mean, I was extremely weak, and I mean, tallying the asset and liability side and the profit and loss side of a balance sheet was a nightmare for me. Yeah. So, which is the reason again I realized that I had to again take a pragmatic call that with this kind of a performance in commerce, in accountancy specifically, okay, now what are the options I have? Because I mean, for people like you and me, all we cared about that after our college, we need to have earn adequate to have 2 square meals a day. That is when my search started for another alternate career options. I mean, there were few. I mean, again, till 2007. This I'm talking about 2006, 2007. 2007, I got promoted to 12th standard, and was the time that you decide your next step. I mean, till that time also, internet was not that widespread. I mean, there would be barely any cyber cafes. We were not used to using the internet. We would still use traditional means like going to probably a career counselor, or like referring to some magazines. Which is when again somebody told me that corporate law is one area where you get employed. Because again, with our traditional understanding was, once you graduate, you practice under a senior, and then gradually you build up your own practice. Then somebody told me corporate law is one area where you advise companies, you advise investors, you advise entrepreneurs on commercial aspects of the law, like contracts, like investments, shares. So I mean, in my 11th and 12th standard, I had one thing I had started was going through the newspaper. That was told to us even in St. Patrick's, but again, I was hopeless enough not to pursue that. I regret it. But 11th, 12th, I started reading the newspaper, and the business sections were slightly appealing to me, because corporate law also has some rundown with commerce. At the end of the day, it's about
Yes.
the monetary aspects, the financial aspects of business or probably the country. So that was one connecting factor, and probably that was the time when I seriously sat down I did a SWOT analysis. I mean, that time we did not know that this is a SWOT analysis, but that was something which I realized that was actually I did. So, like you weigh out your strengths. One strength would be the natural liking towards the subject. One strength would be decent enough communication skills. One weakness was, some people used to tell that is in any profession, that is goes the same with you as well, like be it medicine, be it law, some kind of a backing is an added advantage. Like if you're the son of a doctor or if you're the son of a lawyer, you have an advantage. For a first, for generation, there are natural challenges. Nevertheless, I realized that weighing the option and comparing it with other options, like for example, an MBA. You also, again, cost was a very important factor, and the law colleges, the government law colleges, they were not that expensive compared to an MBA, and there were some other options as well. Like economics was another subject which I liked, and like let's say a BA in economics and then pursuing an MA and then trying for jobs and all, that was also an option. But that time again, there was not much of awareness, which was a major roadblock vis-a-vis today, because right now data is free, data is rampant, misleading as well, but we would not go into that aspect. So that was the first time I sat through and made a careful decision that okay, I want to, law looks like a good career option. I discussed with my parents. My parents were okay with it, and I enrolled myself for coaching for the law exams, which were for the national law schools. 1 year I pursued my coaching, but unfortunately my marks for the exam, the comparative exam, which is the CLAT, Common Law Admission Test, were not good enough to get me through any of the that time there were 7 national law schools with 3 recently national law schools which had started. I did not make it through any of those 7 law colleges. So symbiosis also, I lost it by a very small margin, but by then my 12th standard exams, the results were out, and again I scored decent in my plus 2 exams to scrape through ILS Law College. Now ILS Law College, it's again one of the most reputed colleges in India, but that, and right now ILS, the way of admission is that you have to appear for the Maharashtra CET law, but back then in 2008 we would get admission by on the basis of our 12th standard marks. And also there would be 2 categories, like within Maharashtra and outside Maharashtra. So I did my Maharashtra HSC, the state board. I was in the state board, so I was a within Maharashtra candidate. I got through in the first rank itself, and that is when my journey of law started, which later culminated into corporate law. When I did some diplomas in corporate law, I attended some seminars, I started reading up more and more about the subjects which are the core essence of corporate law. So that started separately.
And then you did LLM.
I did my LLM when I was already working. I completed my law degree in 2013. 2014 I enrolled myself for my masters from Bombay University. Again, that was an option because attendance wasn't compulsory. So while I was working, I could pursue. I would take leave for my exams, and I would go and give my exams, and that would be it. And I did my masters in environmental law only because my marks weren't good enough to get me through business laws.
Okay.
So I just took the degree.
Just for the benefit of the uninitiated, how long is your law degree that you pursued in ILS, and what is the duration of LLM?
ILS Law College, I did the integrated law, which is graduation plus law, so it was 5 years. The name of the degree is BSL LLB, Bachelor of Social Legal Sciences and LLB. After 3 years, we get our BSL degree, and after 5 years we get our BSL LLB, both the degrees. And LLM I did from University of Bombay, Department of Law. It is 2 years.
Okay. How difficult was it, although you did not have much of a choice, as you have mentioned, but how difficult was it to move from a place like West Bengal, which is in the eastern part of India, vastly different culture, and then integrate yourself so well with the culture in Maharashtra?
So again, this is slightly off the topic. Pune was daunting because considering that Burnpur is a place where its nearest neighbor city Asansol, I mean, there's a difference in the stature, in the status, in the surroundings, in the kind of place that Burnpur is, in the kind of place where Asansol is. So yeah, like going from Burnpur to Pune was daunting. Pune was a full-fledged city. So yes, but I had very good friends in Pune. 11th standard, they are my friends till date. So it's a friendship which has lasted for almost now 2 decades. I'll be completing 2 decades from 2006 July till right now we are sitting in end of November 2025. So yeah, this is my 20th year in Maharashtra. I had very good friends. So friends, my friends made the process very easy for me.
So you learned the language there also in Maharashtra.
Not entirely, but yeah, I understand Marathi and I can speak decent enough to get my way through.
You did not face any difficulties as an outsider integrating into Maharashtra.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so that's put to bed. What is the one thing about living in West Bengal that you miss even today? The pause says a lot.
Yeah, the pause says actually a lot. I don't miss anything specific to West Bengal because, as you know, I mean, most Bengalis are very, very, very particular, very strong about the cultural aspects like the drawings, music, percussion, and all. And I was hopeless in everything. But I mean, if to be honest, if one subject I was consistent across my school was art and craft, it was consistent E. I mean, I remember I drew. I mean, our teacher gave us Mrs. Manian. Yeah, gave us to draw a horse or something, and I drew the horse. She looked at it and said that, "Wow, it's a very ugly buffalo." So yeah, I mean, probably my weakness to the art and culture aspects of a Bengali where I was an absolute exception. I mean, maybe one of the reasons I don't miss anything, but yeah, I do miss certain things about Burnpur. I mean, as I said, the Thera
Right.
is something probably, but that's got nothing to do with West Bengal. That's got probably a lot to do with the place, the Burnpur, where we grew. Where I grew up, you grew up in Asansol, which again is somewhat similar. There's a particular level of peace. There's this, yeah.
So, with that said, if you had a magic wand and you could implement any change in West Bengal today to make it more like maybe Maharashtra, what would be that one change that you've seen in Maharashtra that you want to see in West Bengal?
I mean, Maharashtra, to be very honest, the opportunities are far higher in Maharashtra. So that is something I would want to see, but at the same time, we need to be cognizant of the fact that along with this change, that will catapult a lot of other changes as well of urbanization. So then in that case, a Burnpur or an Asansol would not remain a Burnpur or an Asansol. And in that case, probably I'll come and see a different city. I mean, today I still feel connected with this place is because when I come, I reminisce old times, and because there are certain elements of the old Burnpur or Asansol which has continued, which with the commercialization, with urbanization, with more and more opportunities. I mean, the face might change. Who
And
knows?
is that not worth the price? Is it not worth it to get more opportunities to change the past?
So, this is again an extremely difficult question to answer. In my perspective, in आप किसी जगह की आत्मा को मत बदलो, शायद आत्मा बदल जाती है.
So Subham Chatterjee growing up in Burnpur today in 2025 will still have to go to Mumbai for opportunities.
Yes, that is true.
And that is a good thing.
That is, yes, it's a good thing, but at the same, because see, you do not want a Burnpur to again become a Mumbai, because then in that case, I mean, the diversity in different geographies, we will lose it. I mean, we are a country of diversity.
So do we need more Mumbais or is one Mumbai enough?
I mean, we need more Mumbais, but we don't need only Mumbais.
Okay. Okay, so we'll leave it at that. Moving on to the next question. You are in corporate law. There might be viewers who want to be also in corporate law. What advice would you have for somebody who may be in school, maybe in college, and wants to pursue a career in corporate law?
So unfortunately, our schools do not have a subject which probably can train us for corporate law, right? I mean, the closest subject which had elements of law was civics, where we learned the constitution,
Yes.
which is which is probably one of the most important. And in my college days, it
We
was
probably had one chapter of 4 chapters in an entire history textbook just on civics.
yeah.
So not much importance was given.
I mean, absolutely not. The other subject which still touched upon few aspects of law was commercial applications. Certain commercial applications would teach us about certain aspects of how business are structured, like a private limited company, public limited company, a partnership, what they are, which are the basics of a corporate law, and also aspects of Reserve Bank of India and all, which we learn. So unfortunately, our education system is something where, I mean, just like for an engineer, you can tell that, okay, you need to be particular about science, physics, chemistry, maths, physics, and chemistry. Sorry, if you want to be a doctor, you need to be good and you need to, start liking and developing an affinity for bio. Unfortunately, our current curriculum do not permit some or give that kind of an opportunity for, let's say, a law aspirant.
So what should a law aspirant be?
So a law aspirant should, in school, one is he should ensure that he gets decent marks in his 10th and 12th, not to neglect that, because they were the two saviors in my life. So this is personal advice. And apart from that, he should on internet and on Google start reading about what a corporate lawyer does, what are the aspects of law which he should be particular about, and just to be generally aware of, for example, read up the newspaper and just be generally aware of, let's say, what a merger is, or what an amalgamation is, what a share is.
But in the current landscape that we are living in 2025, if somebody has completed their 12th and now wants to become a corporate lawyer, say he is living in West Bengal or in Maharashtra or in Rajasthan, are there state-specific exams, are there national level exams, or is it just based on 12th board results?
So there are national level exams, like the common law admission test is a national level exam where you get through a lot. If you crack, you have the option of joining one of the national law schools. Depending on your marks, there are certain exams which are specific to universities like Symbiosis. There are exams which are specific for universities like Jindal. There are state level wide exams like Maharashtra CET law. So yes, I mean, if somebody wants to pursue corporate law, then that preparation needs to start few months before you are appearing for your 12th exams, because you will have to fill up your admit cards. You'll have to fill up the forms for your admit cards for these competitive exams, because you will have to sit and you have to write. And again, like right now on Amazon, on Flipkart, there are books available which on like common model test papers, and on internet a lot of these model test papers are available, so they need to glance through them while they are in their 11th standard or 12th standard, just so that they are abreast as to what they are appearing for.
And which subjects are asked in these tests?
So there's logic. I mean, again, I haven't glanced through those model papers for a very long time, but there's logical reasoning, there's legal awareness, basic legal awareness, then there's maths, there's English, then general knowledge.
Right. Okay, so that you would say that even if it's if someone who is pursuing science, arts, or commerce, that should not be a barrier to.
No, absolutely not, because right now, thanks to internet, data is freely available.
Okay, so now that we've talked at length about law as a career, I wanted to ask a lawyer this for a long time. I have observed this phenomenon, I don't know if you have, I'm sure you have, that many lawyers across the world and also in India eventually become legislators. They become lawmakers. Why do you think this happens?
Honestly, I don't have an answer to it, because law does not train us to become legislators. Our curriculum trains us to become lawyers, and our initial practice also, they do make us they do train us to become good lawyers. Why they become legislators, that is a question. Yes, I mean, that's a phenomenon which is common across all countries, be it India, be it Pakistan, be it US. I mean, a lot of Pakistani prime ministers, be it Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, he was a lawyer, he used to practice in Bombay High Court. Yeah,
Muhammad Ali Jinnah was a lawyer.
Muhammad Ali Jinnah was a lawyer. I mean, very successful lawyer. He successfully defended a lot of top businessmen, and he was the defense counsel for Tirak, Lokmanya Tirak. So, but probably because lawyers, and this is also my anticipation, that probably because lawyers have to deal so much with law, and one of the important facets of law is the constitution, which is again the core of the Indian legal system, that develop an understanding towards how the executive functions, how the legislation functions, what laws are needed, which is the reason probably lawyers get drawn to become legislators. In India, some lawyers directly contest through Lok Sabha, but most of them, what we have seen, some of the top legal counsels, some of the top lawyers, senior advocates of Supreme Court, like Mr. Arun Jaitley, Dr. Singhvi. So, I mean, they went on and they are one of the known figures of, they're one of the tall figures in the political landscape of our country.
So, I'll just ask two more questions on this. Do you think a legislator who is a lawyer by profession is better than a legislator who is not a lawyer by profession?
No.
Okay. And do you think that a lawyer who is well versed with the law is able to see the things that law is not covering, and maybe they want to implement new laws? That is what inspires them to become lawmakers.
Again, my answer is no, because let's say an economist, I mean, Dr. Manmohan Singh, our ex-Prime Minister, was an economist. He also could see that, see through the macro and microeconomic issues, and he could also understand that through his experience, obviously, because he spent a long time in the bureaucracy as well. Through his experience, he could understand that what are the legal changes we need to for the growth and progress of the country. So yes, a bureaucrat can be a good legislator. We've had a lot of bureaucrats who have become legislators. Economist can be good. As a good startup founder who's navigated all the steps and set up a successful company, he knows that probably in startups which are generating so much employment, startups which are also contributing to the Indian economy, if there are certain legal changes which the legislators should focus their attention on, I mean, he can also be a good legislator. A charter accountant, there are a lot of charter accountants also who are legislators. I mean, Piyush Goyal, then uh, Mr. Prabhu. He was the railway minister. He a very successful one and a very popular one indeed. He was the minister of commerce and industry. He's from Maharashtra. He's from, if I'm not mistaken, he won direct election from Rajapur in Konkan, Maharashtra.
So you're saying there is no correlation between lawyers, successful lawyer becoming a good legislator?
No.
Okay. So moving on, I do have a question specifically on Dr. Manmohan Singh, but we'll get to it in the later part of the interview. I want you to answer this question. Maybe in your professional life you are well versed with this. There is a massive efflux of high net worth individuals from India to countries overseas. First, it's a two-part question. First, is this good for India? And if not, what can we do to slow it down and prevent it?
I mean, this is absolutely not good for India. I mean, it's basically not only a brain drain, but a lot of people are going out setting companies outside India. So, I mean, the Indian government is losing out a lot on the revenues as well. And secondly, yes,
But maybe the high net worth individuals could turn around and say it's precisely because of the revenue they have to give to the government that is what is propelling them to leave the country.
I mean, see, if you're running successful business, right, then in that case, nobody complains about leaving the country and going to somewhere else. It is only a cause of concern. It's only when, because of better opportunities, or to it's because of I mean, certain inherent issues in the nation, that they are compelled to leave, which is a cause of concern, and which the government needs to look at it. I mean, we've had the successful
some issues.
Yes, I mean, so again, like one thing is, for example, GST. A lot of small traders are facing a lot of problems with GST. A lot of traders are facing problems in relation to, let's say, customs issues. I mean, a lot of changes, I mean, for the benefit has happened, no doubt, but still a lot more needs to happen in India to ensure that this brain drain, people moving out and taking permanent residencies outside India, this stops. So yes, a lot of changes at the execution level. I mean, we have the laws, yes, of course, but a lot of changes at the execution, streamlining level, I mean, should happen. Then the government should be cautious about. So, for example, I mean, how could I forget that? I mean, the courts function extremely slow. The matters take a lot of time to settle.
Right.
One of the reasons is that there's shortage of judges. So government needs to focus its attention on appointing more and more judges.
So it's a widespread systemic issue
Yes, I mean,
across sectors.
and you have to actually go down to the core of the economy, and you have to go down to the core of the functioning of the government to change it.
Do you think there is something to do with the philosophy of the government, which is more of across different political parties, more of a socialist mindset, a welfare state? Do you think that is what is propelling this also?
And see, the kind of country that India is, I mean, socialist measures are needed, and nobody can, I mean, no matter how much we emphasize on the importance of business, I mean, the kind of the level, we are the most populous nation on this earth. A lot of people, they are below the poverty line, millions in numbers. we withdraw these social initiatives, I mean, there will be chaos in the nation. So that is absolutely needed. But yeah, along with that, the government needs to focus a lot, turn its focus around a lot towards the industries as well. I mean, a lot of times we see industries and let's say Garib Janta at the crossroads. That is the time when the government needs to smartly maintain, strike the balance.
Okay, so the key thing is to have ease of doing business and also ease of survival for the population.
Yes, exactly. Or else, I mean, the kind of population we have, the kind of population below the poverty line, I mean, there'll be chaos across the country.
Okay, so staying on the topic of business, based on your life in Mumbai and in the recent past, what have you seen was the impact of the tariffs introduced by the American president, specifically on Mumbai?
So again, there has been. You also know that it's out on the papers that lakhs of people have got unemployed. If I'm not mistaken, the unemployment index rose from 5% to 5.1%, which I mean, with a population of 1.5 billion, I mean, it's a massive number. It's an alarming figure, and a lot of industries who have been traditionally for decades, 2 3 decades, have been exporting to US
You talk about textiles.
textiles. Yes, so they have been impacted severely. I mean, a small exporter who had a staff of 70 or 80, overnight he had to trim down his staff to 10 or 12 people, and he had to tell them that, I mean, stay put, and I'll absorb once things uh, improve. I mean, but again, like something which, but this overnight change, which also a bit of the impact we also saw during demonetization in 2016. I mean, this is something which is absolutely alarming, and which was catapulted by the tariffs which were imposed by Donald Trump. So this is my experience, first-hand experience about the impact of tariffs by America on India. So yes, I mean, some of the sectors have been very badly hit. In some of the sectors, there has been a lot of unemployment.
So, suppose you were put in charge of India's negotiations with the US, specifically on the tariff issue. What would you do? How would you approach this?
Very difficult question, because the issue is politically sensitive, because they all stem down from the very emotional incident which happened in Pahalgam, followed by Operation Sindoor by our forces, which made each and every Indian beam with pride. But at the same time,
Do you think the tariffs are linked to the India-Pakistan
I
conflict?
mean, again, that is what media has to say, and I don't have any inside information, right? So, I mean, I would also tend to believe that the time the president of US, Donald Trump, uh, tried claiming the benefit. I'm sorry, tried
Credit.
claiming the credit for the negotiation. I mean, that particular aspect could have been diplomatically handled that time. Diplomatically, things can be handled even now, but I believe I am not educated enough to answer this question, because at a bureaucratic level, you need a lot of data. You need a lot of data, you need a lot of projections to negotiate properly, which obviously I don't have, and I'm not the qualified or educated to respond to this.
But are you optimistic about the possibility of the tariffs being overturned?
Yes, I'm optimistic.
Okay. So now that we've talked about the present, let's have a look back at the past. Not ancient past, just last 10 years. With the benefit of the experience we have had since 2014, has your opinion about Dr. Manmohan Singh evolved?
No, I mean, my opinion about Dr. Manmohan Singh has remained the same. I mean, he was one of the, I mean, with all due respect, he's no more. And I mean, may his soul rest in peace and tranquility. But I mean, Dr. Manmohan Singh, my opinion, has always remained standard, that he was one of the brightest minds India has seen. And obviously, there were certain mistakes, and I mean, a plethora of factors led to the absolute collapse of the Congress and the UPA government in 2014. But yeah, I believed it then also that the measures which Dr. Manmohan Singh had taken, I mean, they had their benefits also and they had their drawbacks also. So, for example, uh, I'm forgetting the name of the scheme which guaranteed 100 days of employment.
Manrega.
Manrega?
Manrega.
Okay.
It was
So,
originally Narega, National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. Then it got named after Mahatma Gandhi, so Manrega.
okay. I mean, I believe
100 days for
I believe that was by Dr. Manmohan Singh,
yes, that was
and
UP one.
another socialist, a very tall socialist leader from Bihar, Raghuvansh Prasad Singh. I mean, considering our proximity to Bihar by our
When
backgrounds,
our parents were from Bihar.
yeah, so our mothers were
mothers.
our mothers were from Bihar. So yes, we have a proximity to that state as well, and also we are from Bardhaman West, which is at a Bengal Jharkhand border, previously Bihar. So yes, so for example, that particular scheme, that scheme was revolutionary. At the same time, it had its drawbacks. I mean, labor in certain areas became extremely expensive because certain laborers, they stayed put at their native places because they were guaranteed 100
Yes.
days. So yes, I mean, certain, and obviously like Dr. Manmohan Singh's role, who, I mean, nobody can forget. I mean, when he put down his foot during the Indo-US nuclear deal, he put up a very strong face.
Yes.
I mean, which again, that kind of strength and courage we were missing in UPA too. So yes, I mean, my views about Dr. Manmohan Singh hasn't changed, and that time also I believe that he was one of the brightest minds who did some mistakes which led to the collapse, and I hold that view even today.
Okay, fair enough. Now, what do you think about the freedom of expression laws in India?
My view is that freedom of expression laws, I mean, more than freedom of expression laws, I believe freedom of expression is sometimes misused. Sometimes people themselves are confused. Sometimes the executive goes a bit overboard. Sometimes we as Indians go a bit overboard in the name of freedom of expression. So yes, it's one of the important and one of the basic requirements of any democratic nation. And obviously, you always keep, as we say, that you keep your critics close. So a freedom of expression actually facilitates that kind of a scenario. But at the same time, yes, like, I mean, it's very important for us, as at the same time for the legislature and the executive to exercise a bit of caution, exercise a bit of restraint while using or enforcing freedom of expression.
Do you think that because India was born or became independent in the context of the partition, which was rife with violence, which can be argued was due to people expressing opinions that led to tensions? Do you think that is the reason why strict freedom of expression laws exist in India?
I believe freedom of expression laws have their genesis from our old cultures. Like, for example, if I'm not mistaken, Acharya Chanakya was had great faith in this aspect of freedom of expression. Or like even apart from that, because I don't see a correlation between the partition and the freedom of expression being so strong in India, because partition happened for, I mean, all different reasons, be it individual ambitions of politicians or the divide and rule policies of the British. I mean, and also, I mean, while the British left, the intent of the British to continue somehow exercising influence on parts of the Indian subcontinent. So I do not see a correlation between freedom of expression laws and the partition which happened in 1947.
Do you think we have enough freedom of expression, or do we need more?
Again, a very subjective question on certain, and also like I cannot base my answer on some standalone events, but if I compare this situation with any other nation or most of the other nations across the world, on a comparative analysis basis, I would like to say that in India we have adequate freedom of expression.
Maybe we are at the sweet spot. Maybe we are not as free as, say, United States, where freedom of expression has the First Amendment. We don't have that here. But it's not as bad as, say, an authoritarian regime like People's Republic of China. Would you say we are at a very sweet spot with just the right balance of executive control and people being able to express their opinions freely?
I'm not certainly sure about the position in US, and like about its enforcement, and I mean what the legislature, the executive believe or let's say perceive about freedom of expression. But yes, I would say that on a comparative basis, we are at a position where we can frankly say that yes, we do have freedom of expression.
Okay, so we leave it at that. Do you intend to spend your entire life in India?
At present, yes, I do intend to spend my entire life in India. I do not have any specific reason for that. One reason may be that I want to continue working, and considering the nature of work which I have, like I am authorized to practice in Indian laws. I am not authorized to practice in any other laws. So yes, I from that perspective, yes, I would like to spend my entire life in India. But again, certain things are uncertain about the future. I'd like to leave them to that.
Okay. So, knowing that you are fully invested in India, what changes would you like to see in India during your lifetime in the future? If you could name one or two.
I mean, of course, it's not only my dream, but it's a dream of 1.5 billion Indians to see India as a developed nation in the economic landscape of this world, where not developed in the sense not only as far as a strong economy. I mean, as far as let's say, I mean, the government comes up with a 5 billion economy, 10 billion economy. I mean, sorry, 5 trillion, 10 trillion economy, but at the same time, people with good quality living, better healthcare, better infra. I mean, in
Less
India,
pollution.
less pollution, of course, very important. I mean, environment. I mean, we've been underestimating the importance of good environment for a very long time. And yes, a lot of areas in India are extremely, extremely, extremely underdeveloped. So maintaining parity, I mean, as we discussed previously, having more Bombays or more Bangalores, uh, opportunities which are cut across uh, all the different areas adequately, so that every other person from a small town does not, or a village does not need to pack his bag and come to a city. So yes, these are the few things I would like to see in India.
Okay. So, last question. Now that you've been living in Pune and Mumbai for 20 years almost, how important do you think were the following two things? Your education in school in Burnpur, Asansol, and your upbringing in a place like Burnpur. How important were they in contributing to your eventual life in Pune and Mumbai?
I mean, it was basically the certain core values which were imbibed in us when we were kids, right? Like, you be respectful to people, you be humble, which are the certain things I realized later in my life. But yeah, like, you be true to your job, you do your job honestly, you build relations. When both our parents have very big social circles, because I mean we saw them really going out and helping people. So yeah, be helpful to people, uh, even when you know that the person in front would never be able to, like, repay that kind of help. So without any expectation, helping people. Then yeah, a lot of times, certain values, like, yes, I mean, things like, don't waste money, be very particular about money. I mean, these are the aspects which, I mean, when the transition happens from a small town to a big town, I mean, one of the things which people do not realize is that your spending goes up few multiple times. So that time, like, you have to, save money, you have to preserve money for future, you have to ensure that you have adequate reserves for your family, for crisis and all. So certain of these things which we have learned in Burnpur as well as in school, I mean, these were the few values. I mean, a lot of them we have also underestimated for a very long time. The learnings from us, Aesop's fables, Hitopadesh.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and in college, as most of us are rebels, and we do not. We try to stray away, and we feel that, okay, like, I mean, these are just bookish words, and they do not hold any major significance in life. So that is wrong. I mean, some of these basic human values, basic values which are imbibed in us ever since our upbringing, so these are the things which have helped me navigate through the ups and downs of moving from Burnpur to Pune and eventually Bombay. And I believe these values are adequate to help anybody from going not only Bombay but even going other places also.
Do you
Because
think the school we studied in played a particular role in your life?
I would like to say yes, because again, like,
You don't have to say yes.
no, so again, I would like to say yes, because again, like, certain things like discipline, certain things like, uh, although I did not participate a lot, but our school also encouraged a lot of these other activities, like, for example, quiz, general knowledge, and you would know it better than anybody else. You were the flag bearer of our school for quiz activities, right, from BQC to other championships. But I mean, having a good general knowledge is very important when you're connecting with people, when you're striking a conversation, right? And similarly, things like, having I mean, pushing somebody for sports. Sports again is a very important aspect when you go and out and you build relation, I mean, not only about playing the sport but about overall knowledge of the sport. Then in addition to that, a lot of these other cultural activities and all also.
Do you think our ability to speak in English was down to our school?
Yes, certainly.
And did that help in integrating into a place like Pune and Maharashtra and Bombay?
No.
But eventually in professional life?
Yes.
Okay.
Eventually it did.
Okay. But not for the immediate integration.
No, I mean, like for immediate integration, I don't think I mean, if you want to make friends,
You don't speak English.
you don't speak English, you speak Hindi. You speak Hindi. Or even better, you speak the local language. Because, I mean, making friends is all about, accepting. So when I went, they accepted me as one of their own. I mean, that answer only they can give. But I also accepted them as my own, as the city, as its cultures, as my own. I started reading a lot about Pune. Pune as a place, I mean, was one of the played a very important played a very important part as a place in our freedom movement.
Yes.
Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Lokmanya Tilak, Agarkar, Chafekar brothers. There's on Symbiosis University, the Senapati Bapat Road campus in Pune. It's a very important place. So Senapati Bapat, he was a freedom fighter.
Right.
Very less people knew about it. I did not know all the while when I stayed in Pune. It was only the last years. I started reading a lot about Pune as a place, Maharashtra as a place, and all. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these things I came to know later. But I knew about Vasudev Balwant Phadke, who was after 1857. He was considered to be one of the first of the revolutionaries, even before Khudiram Bose, who took up arms and posed challenge to the British uh, tyranny.
Okay. So on that note, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much.